Hey everybody, Jason here from Ghostbusters News, and today we've got a special one for you as we're going to be taking an early look at the Ghostbusters Plasma Series 2-in-the-Box HasLab, providing you with a sneak peek of every single item that comes inside the box. And before we get into today's unboxing, the review, I can already imagine the comment section, so I just want to go ahead and say, if you yourself have a 2-in-the-box on order and you're waiting for it to ship, I hear they should begin shipping within the next few weeks, so yeah, you should be seeing yours relatively soon. Alright, so first fixating on the box, very much like the Proton Pack HasLab, we've got a box here that feels very in-universe with Ghostbusters. Right here it says, "Do not look directly into the trap." Then we have a note from Janine, "Please return all equipment to the storage room. This means you, Peter." And given that the 2-in-the-box name, it does come from Ghostbusters 2, I love the inclusion of pink psychomagnetheric mood slime. In fact, right there, an evidence tag just like what's seen in the film. And in a nod to Frozen Empire, on the back of here we've got the Ghostbusters Engineer logo, and you'll see here this has been inspected by Winston Zedmore. Now I know that this video, it's hyped up as both an unboxing as well as a review. However, there's already a couple of unboxing videos here on YouTube, most notably from Adam Savage. So I'm not going to spend too much time unboxing because you've likely already seen it. So give me a quick second here and let's get this all out on the table because I cannot wait. And it's almost sensory overload because there's so much stuff that I want to take a look at. I don't know where to start. I think for the pack-ins, we're going to save those for later in the video because chances are, if you're watching this, you're here to see the hardware, the toy props. So let's start it off with Egon Spengler's gadget of choice, the PKE meter. And in having it in hand, the first thing really to note is when it comes to the appearance of the meter, it is based on how it looks in more recent films, Afterlife and Frozen Empire. And with that, it actually feels quite thick. Also, it's got a good weight to it. I feel like it could take a drop. And I'm not going to throw it to the ground for the purpose of this video, but it just feels well made. I've already installed batteries, which, an FYI, the PK meter, it does take 3 AA's. And the power switch is found at the very bottom, right here. Right now it's turned off, however, let's go ahead and turn it on. And there are 2 different on modes, one being normal and another for EMF detection. But we're going to start with the normal mode first. And in normal, you can choose to either manually move the wings or choose to have a scripted animation. And manual is exactly what it sounds like, being controlled by the bottom 2 buttons. You press right for the wings to go up and left for the wings to go down. Also, if you hold down that right button, again the up button, the lights, the sounds, they're going to begin to speed up. As well, if you continue to hold it down, there is an overheat sequence. Pretty cool, right? Let's now try out the scripted animation sequences, and these are activated by the 2 top buttons. Well, actually, the right button controls the scripted animation, as the left button simply lowers the wings and kind of puts the PK meter into a sleep mode. It's also worth noting that anytime during the scripted animation, if you want full control over the meter, pressing one of the manual buttons down below will override. Continuing our way upwards on the meter, right here there is a 3-way switch. And this changes the screen animation, as well it can mute the PKE. The left yellow animation, it is considered low. The right green animation is considered high. And if you go from either of these to then the mute, which is in the middle, that is the preferred screen animation, the sequence that will be muted. And in talking about the lights here, the LEDs on this thing are really bright. Can we actually go ahead and lower the lights in the room? Moving along, we gotta talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife's Taser Mode, which, just like in the film, you activate by moving this red cover and then flipping this switch on the back of the PKE. And when you are in this mode, all the face buttons, they give that taser effect. If you hold one of the buttons down, you kind of charge the taser, and just like the PKE meter in its normal mode, there is an overheat sequence. So right now, I gotta hit you with a very important safety tip when it comes to switching from taser mode back to normal or regular mode. You see, the wings, they need a little help getting repositioned. What you do is you take the wings one at a time and you return them to 90 degrees. Once you do that, they're going to retract back in, reactivating the PKE meter's normal functions. Before we move on to the ghost trap, there is one last thing we got to talk about when it comes to the PKE, and that is the EMF mode, which it's actually in right now. And I do not have a standalone EMF detector, so I don't really know how precise this thing is. Like, even if it's a semi-functioning EMF detector inside a Hasbro toy, I'm still kind of blown away by it. But in working on today's video, I had this PKE meter right next to my computer in EMF mode. And I have no idea if it was the computer or the router, but this thing started going crazy. From there, I thought I'd have a little fun with it. I brought it close to my microwave, my refrigerator, washing machine, and to all those, it didn't really seem to react all too much. But then I took it outside next to some power lines and it spiked. Up next, a word of caution, do not look directly into the trap, because we're taking a look at the ghost trap. And having this in hand, the first thing that comes to mind is not how great it looks, and I mean this thing does look freaking great, but really just how heavy this thing is. Like, I can feel that these wheels down here, the plates on the side, they're cold to touch, they are metal, but I would say this is probably running about maybe 6 to 7 pounds, 6 to 8 pounds. It feels very much like a prop, not a toy, and when it comes to the appearance, I love the weathering on this thing. Especially the wear and aging shown on the side plates. All the stickers appear to have this caked on layer of grime and filth, maybe even some dried ectoplasm. There is also a trap pedal included, which looks equally as impressive. I love the weathering on this one as well. Again here, a mixture of both metal and plastic parts. What looks to be a legit ribbon cable also attached, and for a toy prop, that relay there, which can be repositioned if you want the Afterlife style, it looks the part. When it comes to connecting the trap to the pedal, the cable that it comes with measures 9 feet in length, and great news, it is not proprietary. So if you ever need or want to replace it, get one that's longer or maybe even shorter, you're going to be able to do so. The connectors on each side, they securely screw right into place, and the connection, it does feel really secure. Like, I don't know if Hasbro, they would recommend me doing this, just holding the trap by the cable, but yeah, I have full faith in this. And in speaking about the connector cable, also included in the HasLab are 2 of these. They're made of plastic and they are fake connector ports. They easily attach on both the trap and the pedal, and they're going to protect the actual ports when the cable is not connected. To insert batteries into the trap, you're going to hit the cartridge release button found atop the handle, and this releases just like it does in the movies. Oh, and for those wanting to be ready for when their 2 in the box arrives, the ghost trap, it takes 4 AA's. So right here, we've got the power switch, and in pushing it forward, the trap will turn on in normal mode. However, instead, if I chose to push it in the other direction, it's going to turn on in rumble mode. Which, from what I gather, is the exact same thing, but yeah, there's a rumble feature to it. And the trap here, it works exactly like you think it would, as in, you hit the pedal, the door is open, accompanied by lights and sound effects. Looking inside, we do have a plastic mesh, which does add to the effect, but is totally optional. It easily comes right out, allowing a bit of room where if someone wanted to place, I don't know, maybe a smoke kit inside, they could totally do so. In addition to the foot pedal, there are a few other ways that you can open the door. You see, underneath the handle, there is a hidden button, and hitting it with 2 quick presses is going to mimic the pedal functionality. Or instead, 1 quick press just opens the doors, and this is listed as a service mode. And if you're brave enough and hold down that button even longer, you're going to unleash what's strange in the neighborhood, activating spooky mode. And in this mode, you're going to hear ghouls, demons, ghosts, some banging and clanging as well, some Morse code. Given that the ghost trap is just adorned by buttons and knobs that you can just kind of press and turn, of course Hasbro also hid functionality in those as well. Like right here, this is where you control the volume and rumble. And as you turn it up and down, you'll see that the bar graph, it does serve as your indicator. On the left side, you do have the option to swap out the red bars with silver. And in doing that, it does change out the trap's Ghost Sound library with audio more akin to Ghostbusters 2. In fact, right now with the red bars on, let's go ahead and run through some of these sound effects by turning this knob right here. So those were good, a little frightening even, but I want to go ahead and hear some of those Ghostbusters 2 inspired sound effects and attach these silver bars. And believe it or not, but this trap, it does hold a few more surprises, and they're found at the front. And turning this knob here, left and right, you can alter the light bar LEDs with 6 different animations to choose from. And then on the right, this knob, it chooses between what is called a no ghost mode and a ghost mode. And this changes between a quick or extended opening sequence. First, here's the quick. And now the extended. And after you do close those doors, give it a few moments and you may hear a couple of noises, some grunts, some groans. Likely the last feature to touch on here is the Ghost Trap's IR receiver. Yeah, if you didn't know, the Ghost Trap apparently receives IR. And I cannot find too much on this, or really how it functions. But there's been times when playing with both the meter and the Ghost Trap, and I let them kind of like sit there next to one another for a little while, and the sounds and the lights emitting from both, they seem in sync. Maybe they just lined up by pure coincidence. Like, I don't know, maybe. I do hope to have more information and confirmation from Hasbro soon, so certainly be on the lookout for an eventual update. So continuing on, as alluded to earlier in the video, Two in the box, it doesn't just end with the PKE meter and the ghost trap. Because given this HasLab crowdfunding campaign, it was such a big success, the fans also unlocked a ton of extras. And in my opinion, the most important of which are these belt holsters for both the ghost trap and the PKE meter. The quality of these, they feel great, and I cannot see anyone being really disappointed with either. Especially the trap holster, because this thing, it does have a metal backing. Which somehow I didn't even mention when taking a look at the ghost trap, but yeah, underneath it there, we do have a proper hook. And it easily slides right into place, and honestly, having these two connected like this, it just feels sturdy. Now, if you choose to display these more so on your shelf, rather than a belt or cosplaying, Hasbro, they also have you covered. Because also included are these display stands, and these stands, they're rather simple, but effective. The weathering on the trap stand in particular, I really like. Meanwhile, the PKE stand, it does keep the meter upright, and I love just having this on the stand turned on into EMF mode and seeing it randomly peak. We now move on to some collectible patches, and these include one of the traditional and screen-accurate No Ghost logo. There's also Afterlife's mini pup design, Frozen Empire's engineer uniform patch, and then finally a unique caution-clad, slime-dripping HasLab patch. And in mentioning the Ghostbusters engineer patch, for those that bought two in the box, welcome aboard, because you're also now part of Zedmore Industries, as you're going to receive this replica ID card. Of course, what would a HasLab be without some stickers? And we do have some obvious choices like Raise Occult books and Stay Puft marshmallows, but I love the other two a little bit more because they're deep cuts. I mean, come on, we used to roast marshmallows at Camp Wakanda, as well Venkman's World of the Psychic television show. You want some wall art? Because from there we've got schematic diagrams of the hardware, the PKE, and the trap. It feels very much in universe with the franchise, and then finally, moving on, a set of Zener cards. And while the back of these, they do make use of Raise Occult branding, making them, not screen accurate. The accuracy of the symbols, the round edges, and the overall quality of the cardstock used easily make these my favorite pack-in, other than the holsters and the stands. You know what? I'm actually a little curious. I'm just gonna look the other way here and kind of mix these around a little bit. A couple of wavy lines. I am a legitimate phenomenon. So that does it for our look at Hasbro's Ghostbusters Plasma Series 2 in the box HasLab. For those that back this, that ordered one of these, you are not going to be disappointed. Both the trap and the PK meter are easily the best mass-produced renditions of these props ever made available. They look great, are amazing in hand, feel sturdy, they blur the lines of toy and prop. And I made mention of it a little earlier on in the video, but be on the lookout for an update here on the channel, because I feel like once we get more info from Hasbro and fans get these in hand, we're going to find out more about that IR receiver, as well likely a few more Easter eggs. And one more piece of housekeeping here, Hasbro's next HasLab, actually their current HasLab, the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Ectomobile. At the time of this video's recording, it can now be backed by heading on over to HasbroPulse.com. And much like the 2 in the box, it has tons of pack-ins, with the option to choose between either the base model, which includes the original OG Classic 84 Ecto-1, also with action figures of Slimer, the Library Ghost, and Louis Tully. Or you can back the deluxe model, which gets you a Ghostbusters 2 conversion kit along with the car and all those figures, as well additional figures of Peter, Ray, Winston, and Egon in their charcoal gray Ghostbusters 2 uniforms. Funding is open until December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, be sure to check out the link in this video's description. So I'm a grown man with some toys to play with, so with that in mind, that's all I've got for you for this one. As always, subscribe. If you'd like to join up with Ghostbusters news, check out our Patreon page. A link to that is also in this video's description, and we'll see you right back here next time.